In Australia, some of the most common cars on the roads are the Ford Falcons and Territories. Although these cars have one of the greatest and most reliable engines ever made, the Barra, unfortunately they are notorious for other expensive roadworthy issues, the rear differential bushes being one of them. I was quoted $1,500 to have the diff bushes replaced on this vehicle here. Today I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself for just $66.96. For more on every step of the car flipping process, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next weekly upload. My name's Benjamin McShannock and welcome back to Ben Flips Cars. Step 1. On a level surface, get the car up on some ramps at the front. Then loosen the nuts on both rear wheels before you jack the car up off the ground. Then jack the rear end of the car up as high as you safely can and place some proper jack stands underneath the car so it's held safely in place. Give the car a gentle shake to make sure it's sturdily in place. Now remove the rear wheels and place them underneath the car for some extra security in case the car somehow falls off the jack stands. First, we need to disconnect the tail shaft. Before doing so, it's important to mark up where you disconnected it, as otherwise you'll have alignment issues reconnecting it, causing horrible shudders through the car whilst driving. Once you've undone the 6 bolts, it should come right out. If not, give it a few gentle taps with a hammer to help break any rust that may have seized it in place. Once it's disconnected, the tail shaft should be able to lay down on the ground because of the way this joint works here at the center bearing. Now we want to get onto all the bolts to get this rear end rear cradle out. So on each side there are 2 bolts back here holding in your caliper. You're going to take that off and hang that up out of the way and away from the cradle. You'll first need to slide the brake hose out of this little bracket and then just hang it up with a zip tie like that on the actual chassis away from the cradle. A bolt connecting the bottom of this shock absorber, or I guess you could even take the top one, but we're going to do the bottom bolt in this case, and that's on both sides as well. 3 bolts here, 1, 2, 3, connecting to this blade arm here. Take them all out, they're on both sides also. There's 1 long bolt just here that I'm shining the torch on. That one's got to come out on both sides. Also coming under the car, you've got this bolt here that needs to come out of this strut brace arm. I'm pretty sure you can just take the 1 bolt out. You might have to take the other one as well to twist it out of the way. There's also an ABS sensor on either side. You can see here 1 bolt just holding that in. As for what there's only 1 of, that bolt, big bolt up in the center there that I'm pointing at. Got the torch on. You've also got this exhaust hanger just here that has to just unclip, or you just slide that off. Last thing you don't want to forget is to undo that handbrake cable in the center there. First, mark the thread so you know where to screw it back to and don't have to play around with the handbrake's tightness. Then just the nut in the middle. Bear in mind you'll have to hold the squared off part back here so that it doesn't spin when you're trying to unscrew it. Then the 2 small ring clips holding in the 2 parts of the cable. The last 2 bolts you want to undo is 1 and 2 over this side. Nuts rather, as I've been corrected there. And you just want to crack them. You don't want to fully undo them until you put the jack underneath the diff cradle, because those are the last 2 nuts holding in the diff cradle. Step 4, place the jack underneath the diff with a level block of wood and jack it up until it's gently touching the center of the diff cradle. This is what you're going to use to lower the cradle out once you undo these last 2 nuts on either side of the spring. Once you're confident everything is secure, undo the remaining 2 nuts. Now all the weight of the cradle will be on the jack. Slowly lower the cradle out, ensuring it stays on the jack and doesn't topple over as you're lowering it. With the diff cradle removed, you should be able to carefully roll it out from under the car, once again making sure it doesn't topple off as you try and do it. So now what we're going to do is give this a good clean. I've just covered up the diff breather so water doesn't get down into the diff fluid. The only thing to note is we're going to put degreaser here, just because that's all. I think that's either some vapor from the diff breather or a little bit of a leak of the diff fluid, so we're going to degrease all that off, and then the rest we're just going to use a gurney, high pressure hose, and let's see how it comes out. So just some heavy duty degreaser for those greasy dirty bits on the cradle. Let that soak in for 10 minutes or so, then hose off all the grease and dirt. Ideally use a high pressure hose as I'm using here, as this is going to get all that crap off much better. There you go, you can see the difference that clean's made. This is especially going to be better once everything dries up. Look at all that dirt that's come off, and we got most of that gunk off from the diff breather, either the vapor or the fluid. Now that we have the diff cradle out, we want to remove the bad diff bushings. So here's one of the bushings. You can see the crack in there. We stick this in and wobble it around. You can see the lack of support it has there. that's what the problem is. That's why you need to swap them out. So step 6, first we want to get the center of the bushes out. So remove the large central bolt, and if they're really destroyed, you'll already be able to pry them out. Otherwise, drill around them until you can pry the centers out. We also found a little handsaw like this one could help you cut around the center of the bush to get it out. Beautiful. This next bit is a little more difficult. Begin cutting through the outer shell of the bush with something like this electric saw. Be careful you don't start cutting through the diff cradle. Once you've cut through, use a chisel and a hammer and you should be able to fold the shell in just enough to slide the diff bush out of the cradle. Use this technique for all 3 bushes. Do you have any questions about the process so far? If so, drop them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Also, if you missed the last video on how to fix your car smelling like petrol or burning oil when running, check out this video in the corner up here where I show you how to fix it by replacing the valve tube seals. Step 7. Before we install the new bushes, we want to clean up and smooth out the inside of the diff bush holes. Just some sandpaper or a metal wire brush should do the job. Here are the other 2 front bushes. You can see I've had them in the freezer for about 48 hours. For these 2 and the central one, it was only a whopping $66.96. As said at the beginning, you can get the more expensive Nothline ones, but these are basically factory replicas, and I'm not trying to put too much money into this car, so these are the ones going in. I'll pop the link to them in the description, and yeah, we'll put them in the freezer because hopefully they'll shrink a little and give us an easier time installing them. Step 8, now it's time to finally install the new diff bushes. First, we want to grease both the diff bush holes and the diff bushes themselves just to make them a little bit easier to get in. Ensure the bushes are facing the right way up and press them in as much as you can by hand first. Then start to gently hammer them in and ideally lay a piece of wood over the top and give them a good hammering as gently as you can, but it's still going to take some force until they're in flush. Especially with this factory one here, you're just going to hammer it in as far as it goes. Step 9 is to reinstall the bolt into the bush. You can see we were just using this pry bar to pry up the center of the diff cradle so that we could line up the bolt hole. Once you've got that bolt started and tightened up, it's 200 Newton meters to torque it down to spec. However, I wouldn't be torquing it down until you have the bolt started on all 3 bushes. Right, so what's happened with our cheap bushings here is that you can see they've split as we've tried to hammer them in. So if you're going to get the cheap ones, definitely try and pull them in, don't hammer them in, they'll just give up on you. And we've gone and spent another $150 to get us some proper metal rounded replacement ones, just like the one in the back that went in well. So we're going to go pop them in the freezer for a little bit and hope that they go in a bit easier and without breaking like this one. So use the same technique shown on the back central bush for those 2 front bushes to get them in. And then for reinstalling the 2 bolts for the 2 front bushes, it's a little bit tougher because you have to really wriggle around that center of the diff cradle. But with some wriggling and prying around, eventually you'll line up those bolt holes and get them in. And it's 140 Newton meters for those front 2 bush bolts. Alright, after a headache of a time, we've gotten all the diff bushes back in. That back one wasn't too bad, but the front 2 were certainly a bit of a headache. So be ready for that. And definitely get the metal housed ones, otherwise you risk having a hard time hammering them or pulling them in. So now we just gotta get it back under the car, jack it back up and do all the bolts back up, put simply. Step 10, first roll the cradle back under the car. What we want to do is just raise it with the jack. You just basically want to get that screw and that screw through that hole and that hole. Get the nuts done back up on them, on both sides that is, and once you've done that, basically those 2 things alone can take the weight, so then you can remove the jack with them properly done up. Then you can get to doing all the other screws, handbrake, tail shaft and all that all done back up. When jacking up the cradle, be very careful because the car is only held up by those jack stands there. So if you get caught on something on the way up and lifted off the jack stands, that can obviously be a very dangerous situation. You don't want that happening, so be sure you don't catch anything as you're raising the cradle back up. Be very careful. Here you can see the last bit of us jacking the cradle back up into the car. Alright, we've got those 2 bolts in and they're basically to flush. So that'll basically support the weight. We just have the jack there for safety now. Now let's get on to the other bolts we've got to put in. So first we got that central bolt up in the center there. That's just a single one, short one with its big washer. So you get that back up in there by hand. Then once it's in its thread, twist it down as much as you can by hand. Then get your ratchet, tighten it down. Then one long bolt on the other side of the upper control arm next to the springs on both sides. the 3 connecting to the trailing arms on both sides, these brace strut arms on both sides. Don't forget the bottom of the shock absorber on both sides. And I think I'm going to have to raise this up with the jack to get it to compress enough to line up so we can stick this big 18mm bolt through and get that in as well. What we ended up doing, because we couldn't get these ABS sensors out, even with the bolt out, they just wouldn't come out. So if you follow the ABS sensor line, it goes up into the cabin here. That's the sensor there. So you just unclip the sensor, pull out the grommet, slide it out, and basically undo this little tab here. There's one on the other side of this as well, and then it comes out, and that's actually a lot easier than pulling it out from here. And with the rear seats, all you have to do is pull them out. They just simply clip, so they'll simply press back in when we're done putting in the other ABS sensor as well. So the other things you need to do, of course, is put the exhaust hanger back on. So that's it there, next to the tail shaft. That needs to go back in with all the counterweights and the lines lined up. As you can see, I've done there. That's all lined up properly. And then, of course, the other thing is just the handbrake cable. You put your clips back in, slot those back in, tighten up your handbrake cable to the appropriate tightness. Might take a bit of trial and error just to get that handbrake on the interior to the right tightness. And you just want to do it so that you make sure that when the handbrake's down, you can spin those rotors when it's in neutral. When it's done up, of course, they're nice and solid. You want to try and twist them with a spanner, make sure they're not going to move. Finally, the brake calipers on either side. Cut the zip tie you had holding them up. Slide this plastic part back into its support holder. Slot them back over the disc and tighten up the 2 bolts to put them in place. You may want to add some thread locker to those bolts so the vibrations don't loosen them up over time. So she's back on the ground. All you have to do is jack up that rear end again, pull out the stands and let her back down. And then, of course, we're going to get her off the ramps in a moment, take her for a test drive with the new bushes in. If you have any questions, drop it in a comment below or to message me directly. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, also at Ben Flips Cars. Like the video to help me out with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe so you don't miss the next weekly upload. My name's Benjamin McShannock and thank you for watching Ben Flips Cars.